Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and today we're here to give you another episode of Free Pattern Friday. I love Free Pattern Fridays. I find them so joyful. This one here that we're going to show you today is a viewer request on what to do with your large scale graphic prints. But before we get showing you the pretty picture frame, right, we want to talk to you about Russ at Quilt Meets World. Russ has such a fun channel and you guys have got to go check him out. And when you do check him out, tell him that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. It's going to be a surprise shout out for him. Also, what you're going to find in the show notes below is the cutting instructions for this pretty little dilly that we're doing today. But you're also going to find the Facebook group link where you can join up to share pictures and make use of the rooms that have sew dates with your friends and meet the other members of that Facebook group, which, I mean, it's turning out to be a wonderful thing that we're doing there. Also, there's going to be the Zoom sew dates where we have our monthly Zoom sew date where we just bring whatever inspires us and we hang out for the day sewing. And it's been that's been such great fun. There are a lot of people who have just been very much enjoying those. Now, if you like what you're seeing on this channel, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Also, tell your friends about us, and we are still giving free chats and free speaking engagements to the guilds out there because we're still trying to help them out. And, you know, trying to get things, you know, they're having a hard time right now with their memberships and everything, and it's, you know, it's a good one for them to get a freebie every once in a while. So come on in. Look, we got some sewing to do today. Okay, so here we are with the pretty picture frame, and this is a great one to use your large scale graphics that you want to show off. You know, you've got some really beautiful fabric, but when you cut it up into small pieces, it doesn't do much. So this is the perfect one. Now the hardest thing about this one is doing the half square triangles. So let's start just by running them through. Now all the cutting instructions for these are in the show notes below in the video. And I cut them and then I put them back. I just cut them in half. Instead of doing that 2 at a time. I find the 2 at a time for me is slower, believe it or not. And I just kind of like, well, that's not working well, so anyways, I wanted you to see the layout again too. And, you know, to see it all laid out, then you get a better sense of what you're supposed to be doing, right? Now, this is a gorgeous one when, because there's so many points around the edge, this one would probably work best with sashing if you're going to do an entire quilt like this. And this one you have to play with, because basically this edging works out to 2.5 inches, you know, so like this square is a 2.5 inch square, right? And here we go. Yeah, you just run them through all the same way. It's all good. These are beautiful when you get a beautiful variety, or you have some, you know, a bunch of fabric that's in the same tone but not necessarily the same fabric. You know, like let's say you have a bunch of, you know, large scale blue fabrics that you want to work with. This is the perfect time to take them out and put all the blues together or something like that. It looks great. It looks great when they're on. Okay. Here we go. Oh, everyone. I'm lined up the wrong way. Okay. Okay, the last corner. Almost the last. Now I'm going to show you a tip on how to reduce a bulk in where all these triangle corners are. And I'm just going to run through another one of this denim hibiscus print that I'm working on, trying to move it out of my scrap stash by making little 4 patches. These are I'm overrun with blue, so anything with the Orchid Block Challenge, if you're following that on Wednesday, is coming up from. Everything is blue that's coming up next until that blue bin is gone. Because, wow. And if I take something out to work on it, it doesn't go back. Because I'm adamant that we are going to beat down some blue scraps because I have lots of blue fabric. Okay, so now that I've got these all taken apart. Okay, now what some people do is they trim at a right angle. I go a little deeper in. So my cut's like that. Like I'm looking at a little sharper angle, and I still have a 1/8 seam left where my thread is coming out the end, right? So I'm, you know, a little deeper. Don't be afraid to trim this a little deeper because they do reduce the bulk. It does get rid of that bulk. So anyways, and you only really, that 1/8 seam is going to be within the seam of the next piece that you're sewing on it, right? So, I mean, you've still got a good, you know, almost 1/4 inch or scant 1/4 inch. So, and like I say, I trim them, I line them up all the same way, trim them all the same way. This is the tedious part of half square triangles, doing them this way. That ruler I keep showing you guys, is great because you only have to trim off one dog ear because it gives that squared off look to the other side. But and then somebody said those AccuQuilt cutters, they cut off both dog ears right at once, and I have seen them, and wow, I would love one, but I would never be able to afford one. And well, I could afford one, you know, the reality is I can't afford one, but where would I put it? I keep asking myself, because I share my workspace with like camera lights and everything else, right? So I'm kind of, I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to go just quickly press to the dark side. And now you're going to lay them out like that. And I'll show you how to lay out one. And then, well, I have to lay them all out, so it doesn't matter. I have to lay them out to sew them, so it's all good. There. This is so pretty. This one is so pretty. It's just kind of like a fancy... There's lots of picture frame patterns. And when you go through that Barbara Bachman's encyclopedia, there's a lot of them that are called picture frames. So it's kind of neat how they did take... They're all open source, by the way. They took, you know, their fabric and they played around with it to create different little patterns. And, you know, they took elements of design. Okay, we want to show off this piece, so how do we do it, right? So, and they basically just played with the elements of design and they came up with these gorgeous, gorgeous blocks. So that's what I think is probably the coolest thing about quilting. Everybody's got a different idea about quilting, but I think that's cool. Okay, now, because it's a picture frame, we have to do some sewing together of pieces, right? So what I prefer to do is I would sew these two, you know, these ones together and these ones together, and then these together, all in a row. So, I mean, it's kind of up to you how you decide to do it, but it's... You gotta sew them together, because you can't sew them together like a 9 patch or a 25 patch, right? You gotta figure this out differently, you know, a little bit differently. Okay, so first thing we'll do is get the top and bottom sewn. And we won't worry about doing all the leader enders. We'll just get in here and sew together this. There we go, nice. And, okay, we're going to sew that. Ooh, okay. Let me just shuffle that down just a hair. Okay, so here is the top. Okay, now we're going to press to the inside, or like into the square. I know that's probably not don't press to the dark, but you can see it's going to have, you know, it lies flatter because of this point here. Now we're just going to go down and we're just going to start sewing down these. And there we go, and we're going to finger press that one in place. And take this one. Okay, now, oops. There. I know it's a little more complicated, I guess, to pick up, where the other one we're able to do like a webbing. But I mean, you can choose to do this any way you feel works best for you. Just take your time lining them up. And if one's a little bigger than the other, then take your time to ease the larger one into the smaller one. Like this was just like not even 1/8 of an inch off. You know, I'm going to take my time to ease it in. And when I'm talking about easing it in, is that you hold them in the right position. Okay, like that one's working perfectly, so that's a bad example. Okay, maybe I'll get one here. So, okay. So when you're easing them in, well, that's another one that fits. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to show you a different one. So what you're doing is you're going to press this all so it goes like this. In and in and in. Press it so it all goes into the center. Now, you're going to take this and sew it onto here. And here's where we have some easing, because you can see the feature fabric on either side of this. You want the feature fabric on the bottom, okay, because it's a little bigger. Now what's probably happened here is my 1/4 inch seams are a little chubby, so that's okay, because you can ease it in. And what you do is you hold on to it and make sure your seams are going to go the right way for this block to lie flat. And you just want to push this down, lift this up, because it looks like that seam is going to flip. And there you go. Now I'm going to press in, press in, press, oops, in to the center, and press into the center. There we go. Now I'm just going to put run a leader ender through just to get the center piece off. Here, hang on. Okay, there we go. I wonder if that's the only one. Yeah, when you're holding on and you have to ease in something, that's the easiest way to do it. And you don't get a puckering. You know, if you're easing in, you're not easing in a lot. Oh, I just ran out of bobbin. Oh, but I did win Bobbin Chicken. Look, you guys can attest. It actually got fully sewn before I ran out. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, okay, this is going to go in. There's no puckering there because I eased in this fabric. There's no puckering along here. Okay, let me just change my bobbin. I won Bobbin Chicken. I'm excited. I haven't won Bobbin Chicken in such a long time. I always get so excited. And I won it probably by like a stitch or two, because that's all the thread that's left on that block is just like a stitch or two on the next block. So I did win Bobbin Chicken, but that's okay. Technically it's a win, because I was able to finish the piece I was working on, where this is what was left of Bobbin Chicken right there. I don't know if you can see it. That's fine. That's good. And we'll get this started again. Okay, and then both in through. Okay, now we want to take this piece and move it in here. And again, we need some easing. You can see, I might have cut this one wrong too, because that looks like a pretty good 1/4 inch. Okay, well, maybe. Oh, who knows? Okay, you drop it, make sure your needle's dropped, and then you line up this edge, right? Now you want to be able to just sew without it being moving about. Now, the feed dogs are doing its job, and you're actually getting this eased in perfectly. And it actually makes you look like you know what you're doing. And no, it doesn't bubble and all this stuff. And anything, any easing, like easing in of less than 1/4 inch over a 6-inch strip is not going to show up. It's not going to bubble on your quilt. You know, it can be quilted out as long as you do some, you know, denser quilting or whatever. So let me just finger press this into place. And no, I don't have a ripple. I don't make mini pleats. I don't make anything. It just fits. So now this looks like it also needs a little bit of help, which is okay. I mean, we can do that. I wonder if it is my 1/4 inch foot. Well, that's odd. So the first one we want to make, and we want to make it, we line this up, and we want to make sure that this lines up. This right here lines up. So we want to go in, take 2-3 stitches. Now this is going up, right? Because the one underneath is going down. There. Now we've made our point. This is going down, that's going down. Now we're going to do the same thing. Huh. Well, that's weird. Okay. And we make our point nice and sharp. And we get right to the edge. There we go. I'm going to investigate that in a bit because I think I might have cut. Did I cut it wrong? I might have. Oh, that would be odd. That would be awful. Oh well. If I cut it wrong, I will take it apart and redo it, but not on camera. Because that would just be cruel. And when I'm talking about taking it apart, I mean, I'm talking about, you know, stitch ripping all the sides off and everything, and nobody needs to see me pick and ponder that. So let's go. Let's put it this way. Under, under, under. There we go. Here. Okay, last bit. I wonder. Just to put this down beside me where it goes. Put it away while we can. And, well, I wonder if I... Okay. There. Okay, now I'm going to put this like here and make sure this last triangle lines up perfectly. Yes, it does. And then we ease in the 1/4 inch that it's out. I bet you I cut it wrong. Oh no! Okay, well that's weird. Oh, make sure that's down, a needle down position. If you have to stop and adjust, make sure your needle is down because you're not going to pull it, right? You don't. That's the last thing you want to have happen right away. If you're having something that you need pulled, that would be bad. Pulling would be bad. Okay, and the last one through, just to get the piece off of the sewing machine. Here we go. There. Okay, and we finger press it the other way, making sure we don't have any, see, we don't have any ripples or nothing. I bet you anything I cut this one like a 1/4 inch too big. Okay, so this, once it's ironed and I can starch it, should measure up perfect, but it is a little bubbly here, so I will fix that. And basically what you do is you starch the center and then you set it, you iron it flat. And I think what's happened is I've cut this like a quarter, this part here, I cut it a 1/4 inch too big. So anyways, we'll see you at the ta-da moment. So this is our pretty little 10.5 inch pretty picture frame. Isn't this adorable? And it does give us an opportunity to use our large scale graphics and, you know, give them a nice little frame to go on. Now, as I was sewing this, I was running into problems. And the problem was, when I was sewing my 1/4 inch seams, they're little chubby, they needed a diet. So this is why this center block wasn't fitting right. But, you know, it does finish at 10.5. It looks really cute, and it kind of gives a nice frame to whatever large-scale graphic you're putting in the middle. So, if you like what you're seeing on this channel, please share, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Commenting helps us. Hitting that little like button, and I think there's a bell now or something where you can kind of like, it dings every time a video drops. So you check out all those things, and be sure to look in the show notes for the person we're shouting out and all this. We're having a lot of fun over in the Facebook group too, if you want to join us. And the Zoom sew date that's coming up. Put that one on your calendars to bring. Okay, you guys take care until then. I want you to have an absolutely fabulous week ahead. Okay, bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for all of the amazing people that we have met along this crazy YouTube adventure that we've been having. We do free speaking engagements too, so if you're part of a guild and they're looking for, you know, people to talk and, you know, and chat with, you know, in their monthly meetings, tell them that I'm doing free ones just to help the guilds out, because it's been a tough time for the guilds as well. You know, share, like, and subscribe with your friends. You know, make sure that they're, you know, they get the word out on us. That's the best way you can do to help us out. So until we meet again, I want to thank you. Okay, goodbye.